Episode 9 begins with a flashback of Hanul's interview at her previous hospital. The interviewers question her ability to work in a team and her reputation amongst her peers. Kyung-min comes to her aid and defends her. Later, he is nice to her and helps her whenever she finds herself in a pickle. Hanul treats Kyung-min to a meal and asks him why he is nice to her. Kyung-min praises Hanul and her hard work. However, after Hanul completely starts trusting him, he starts taking advantage of her, showcasing her work as his own, spreading rumors about her, and so on. The scene shifts and Hanul explains that she broke up with Jong-woo because their relationship will only end up hurting both of them, as Jong-woo is looking for Hanul while it rains. The next day, Jong-woo leaves with Bin Dae-young to work in his clinic, and he is to stay in a nearby place for some time. He doesn't evaluate the house, however. Hanul's family, except Hanul herself, bid him farewell. Back home, Bada confronts Hanul if they have broken up, but Hanul is silent. Wool-seon is also worried about her. Jong-woo is quiet inside Dae-young's car, and he guesses that Jong-woo broke up with Hanul but still likes her. He tells him to hold on to Hanul if he still likes her. Meanwhile, Hanul is out drinking with Hongran and tells her that she broke up with Jong-woo. She drinks too much and has to be carried by Hongran and Bada. Wool-seon becomes worried about her. The next day, Jong-woo is received by Dae-young's employees in high spirits. Wool-seon receives a call from Hanul's aunt, who tells her that the director of a hospital in Busan is looking for a bride for his incompetent son so that he can pass on the hospital to his daughter-in-law. She persuades her mother to make Hanul meet the director's son. Although reluctant at first, Wool-seon feels that it might help Hanul and lies to her to make her go on a blind date. Hanul arrives at the blind date thinking that the director's son wants help from her. However, the son is a complete jerk to her, and she realizes what her mother has done. She leaves the place and confronts her mother about it. Hanul feels betrayed that her mother finds her pathetic just like other people. Wool-seon feels guilty and cries in Hanul's uncle's restaurant. Hanul sits on the rooftop and remembers Jong-woo. At this time, her uncle joins her and confides in her that her family can only help her as her support system, and it breaks their heart to see her struggle. He asks her to fulfill his wish and takes her to a restaurant that sells pig trotters. Sometime later, Bada comes in with their mother. It's revealed that the uncle and nephew plotted this meeting to let Hanul and her mother reconcile. After some awkward exchanges, Wool-seon tells Hanul that her parents have always been proud of her and her achievements, and never once did they find her pathetic. She asks her to let go of her guilt about her father's passing. She blames herself for not being there because of her studies. Hanul and Wool-seon cry and reconcile. Wool-seon also tells her that Jong-woo is a rare gem and that she is worried about how much he is struggling. She expected Hanul and Jong-woo to become each other's support system. The next day, Hanul wakes up to find that she drunk texted Jong-woo. She goes to the rooftop to gather chilies for her mother but is surprised to find Jong-woo there. Jong-woo blurts that she has been doing well, going on blind dates and having dinner with her family. He fumbles for words but finally tells her that he will wait for her. Hanul finds it reassuring. Later, Jong-woo and Dae-young enter the clinic to find it full of clients. They are also booked for the next 2 weeks since people find out about Yeo Jong-woo working at the clinic. Jong-woo feels burdened but stays silent. He is booked for his first surgery after the accident. He tries to concentrate but ends up pulling out of the surgery in panic. The nurses figure out that he has PTSD. Dae-young proposes to cancel the next day's surgeries, but Jong-woo insists upon them. Hongran learns about Jong-woo's PTSD, overhearing the nurses talk, and relays the same to Hanul. The next day, Jong-woo nervously enters the operation theater to find Hanul as his anesthesiologist for the day. The episode review. This episode again was a treat to watch, especially Hanul and Wool-seon's relationship. It is heartwarming to watch her family stand behind her as her strongest support system. This episode was a great concoction of tear-jerky scenes and the comic relief that Jong-woo brings. We also find the reason behind Hanul's misery and how she was treated by her peers and seniors at her previous workplace. Kyung-min has consolidated his position as one of the most horrible double-faced characters who manipulate the weak to meet his ends. It would be satisfying to watch his downfall, if at all, in the show. How did you like the episode? Do you think Kyung-min should be figuratively staked? Let us know in the comments and we'll see you in the next recap.